The mockery, the unexpected encounter. Captain Alina Vasquez stood silently on the bridge of the ESS Prometheus, her dark eyes fixed on the swirling nebula that painted the viewport in shades of purple and gold. The ship drifted through the neutral zone between human and alien territories, its mission simple yet crucial. Alina had been tasked with establishing new trade routes that would benefit Earth's expanding colonies. At 42, she was one of the youngest captains in the Earth Space Service, but her record spoke for itself. She had never lost a ship or failed a mission. The Prometheus was not an impressive vessel by galactic standards. Measuring only 800 meters in length, it appeared modest compared to the massive dreadnoughts that other species favored. Its hull was a simple gray metal, unmarked except for the blue and white insignia of Earth. To most observers, it looked like exactly what it was supposed to be: a diplomatic courier ship with minimal weapons and basic shielding. Lieutenant Marcus Chen, the ship's communications officer, turned from his station with a puzzled expression. "Captain, I'm picking up multiple signatures on long-range sensors. 12 vessels approaching from 3 different vectors." His voice carried a note of concern that Alina had learned to respect over their 2 years serving together. Alina moved to the tactical display, her boots clicking softly on the metal deck. The holographic projection showed 12 red dots converging on their position like predators surrounding prey. Analysis: Commander Torres. Commander Sofia Torres, the ship's tactical officer, ran her fingers across the control interface. The display shifted to show detailed scans of the approaching vessels. 3 distinct ship classes: Captain, Karothi Empire Design, Vexian Confederation, and Thalarian Hegemony. Each group consists of 4 heavy cruisers. She paused, her face growing serious. "Captain, these 3 species have never cooperated before. They're traditional rivals." Alina felt a chill run down her spine. The Karothi, Vexians, and Thalarians were among the most powerful military forces in the galaxy. If they were working together, it could only mean one thing. They saw humanity as a threat, serious enough to overcome centuries of mutual hostility. The alien alliance, the bridge, fell silent as the crew processed this information. Dr. James Wright, the ship's chief scientist, spoke up from his station. "Captain, the implications are staggering. These 3 civilizations have fought each other for over 1,000 years. For them to form an alliance..." He left the sentence hanging, but everyone understood. Alina nodded grimly. "How long until they reach us?" 18 minutes at current. "Approach speed," Torres replied. "They're not trying to hide their presence. In fact, they're broadcasting on all frequencies." "Let's hear it," Alina ordered. The bridge speakers crackled to life with a transmission in heavily accented standard. "Galactic." The voice was deep and resonant, filled with arrogance and disdain. "Human vessel, this is Fleet Admiral Zask of the Karothi Empire. You are trespassing in space that has been claimed by the Galactic Defense Alliance. Your species has spread too far, too fast. We are here to contain this threat." Alina stepped forward, her voice steady despite the situation. "This is Captain Alina Vasquez of the Earth Space Service vessel Prometheus. We are in neutral territory conducting peaceful diplomatic missions. We have no quarrel with any of your species." A different voice responded, this one sharper and more aggressive. "Peaceful. Commander This of the Vexian Confederation speaks. Your species is anything but peaceful. We have studied your history, humans. You are violent, destructive, and dangerous. You fight wars over resources, destroy your own environment, and now you spread this chaos to the stars. The third voice was cultured but cold. High Admiral Quinth of the Thalarian hegemony concurs. Your technology is primitive, your ships are weak, and your military tactics are crude. Yet somehow you continue to expand into space that belongs to civilized species. This ends today. The mockery begins. Alina looked around at her crew. They were all watching her, waiting for orders. These were good people who had volunteered for deep space missions, knowing they might never see Earth again. They deserved better than to be dismissed as primitives by species that had never bothered to truly understand humanity. Open a channel, Alina commanded. Fleet Admiral Zarsk, Commander, this is High Admiral Quinth. I propose we meet in person too. Discuss this situation diplomatically. There's no need for violence. The response was immediate laughter from all three aliens. The sound was harsh and mocking, echoing through the bridge. Admiral Zarsk spoke first. Diplomacy. You wish to negotiate with your superiors. Look at your pathetic vessel, human. It is smaller than our escort ships. Your weapons are primitive. Your shields could not stop a single shot from our secondary guns. Commander Vises joined in. We have analyzed your ship's design. It is inefficient, wasteful, and poorly constructed. Our children could build better vessels with scrap metal. How do you expect to survive in space with such inferior technology? High Admiral Kent's voice carried particular contempt. The Thalarian hegemony has been building starships for 10,000 years. We have perfected the art of space warfare. Your species has been in space for barely 2 centuries. You are infants playing with toys while adults discuss important matters. Alina felt her jaw tighten, but she kept her voice calm. Perhaps our approaches to technology are different, but that doesn't make us inferior. Humanity has accomplished much in our short time among the stars. Accomplished? Zarsk laughed again. You have built a few simple colonies and constructed ships that barely function. We have conquered solar systems, built orbital cities, and created technologies that reshape matter itself. You are nothing compared to us. The crew's resolve. Alina looked at her crew again. Lieutenant Chen was working quietly at his station, his face showing no fear despite the overwhelming odds. Commander Torres was calmly checking weapon systems, though everyone knew their few plasma cannons would be useless against 12 heavy cruisers. Dr. Wright was studying his scientific instruments with the same focused intensity he brought to every problem. Chief Engineer Sarah Kim appeared on the bridge, her uniform slightly stained with reactor coolant. Captain, I've been monitoring the alien transmissions. They're not just communicating with us. They're sharing tactical data, coordinating attack patterns, and linking their defensive systems. Alina nodded. Standard procedure for a coalition. Fleet, what's our status? All systems nominal, Sarah reported. The reactor is running smoothly, and all our special modifications are online and ready. The alien voices continued their mockery over the CUM system. Human Captain, Commander Vises, called out, "We are curious about something. Why do you not flee? Surely even your primitive sensors can detect our overwhelming superiority. Are you too proud to run, or too stupid to understand your situation?" Alina stepped closer to the view screen. "We don't run from bullies, Commander. That's not who we are, bullies." "High Admiral," Kent's voice rose in anger. "We are the established powers of this galaxy. We have earned our positions through strength, intelligence, and thousands of years of advancement. You are newcomers who refuse to know your place." "Our place," Alina repeated quietly. "And where exactly do you think our place should be?" Admiral Zarsk answered immediately. "Confined to your home system. Your species is not ready for galactic civilization. You lack the maturity, the technology, and the wisdom to exist among your betters. The ultimatum, asterisk. The alien fleet was now clearly visible on the main screen. 12 massive ships arranged in a perfect attack formation. Each vessel was at least twice the size of the Prometheus, bristling with weapon emplacements and glowing with the energy of powerful shields. They looked like metal cities floating in space, their hulls marked with the intricate designs and battle honors of their respective civilizations. Beautiful ships, Dr. Wright commented quietly. Their engineering is impressive. Alina smiled slightly. Yes, they are. But remember, James, the most beautiful flowers are often the most fragile. Admiral Zask's voice boomed across the bridge again. Human captain, you have one final chance. Order your crew to abandon ship. We will provide you with escape pods, sufficient to reach the nearest inhabited system. Your vessel will be destroyed, but your lives will be spared. And if we refuse, Elena asked, then you will die with your ship. Commander Dissus replied coldly. Your choice, human. Live as refugees or die as fools. Alina walked to the center of the bridge, her hands clasped behind her back. The crew watched her intently, waiting for her decision. She thought about Earth, about the colonies that depended on trade routes like the one she was establishing. She thought about humanity's place in the galaxy and the arrogance of species that judged others based on appearances. Gentlemen, she said finally, you've made several assumptions about humanity that are incorrect. You assume we're primitive because our technology looks different from yours. You assume we're weak because our ships are smaller. You assume we're inferior because we're newer to space. These are not assumptions, High Admiral Quenth interrupted. These are facts based on careful observation. Alina smiled. Perhaps, but there's one thing you haven't considered. Humanity has always been at its best when facing impossible odds. We don't build the biggest weapons or the strongest shields. We build the smartest ones. The hidden truth, Chief Engineer Kim moved to a control panel that most visitors would overlook. It was hidden behind a maintenance access port, unmarked and unremarkable. Captain, all systems are showing green. The quantum entropy disruptor is ready for activation. Alina nodded. Thank you, Sarah. Dr. Wright, please explain to our guests what they're about to witness. Dr. Wright stood from his station, his face showing the excitement of a scientist about to demonstrate a revolutionary breakthrough. Fleet Admiral Zask, Commander Dissus, High Admiral Quenth, you've been very vocal about human technological inferiority. I'd like to show you something that might change your perspective. More human boasting, Zask replied dismissively. We have no interest in your primitive inventions. This particular invention, Dr. Wright continued, is based on a breakthrough in quantum mechanics that human scientists achieved 15 years ago. We discovered that the fundamental forces binding matter together could be disrupted through carefully controlled quantum entanglement cascades. There was a pause in the alien transmissions. Finally, Commander Dissus spoke. Quantum entanglement. Cascades. That's theoretical physics. No practical application exists. No practical application that you know of, Alina corrected. The Prometheus may look like a simple courier ship, but it's actually a testbed for humanity's most advanced technology. We built it specifically to demonstrate that size and appearance can be deceiving. Admiral Zask's voice carried a note of uncertainty for the first time. Human captain, what are you saying? Alina moved to the tactical display, her finger hovering over a control that would change everything. I'm saying that you've underestimated humanity. We don't build weapons to intimidate or conquer. We build them to protect what we love. And right now, that includes the right to exist in this galaxy as equals, not as subordinates. The alien fleet continued its approach, weapons charging and shields at maximum power. 12 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy, crewed by experienced warriors from 3 different civilizations, all united in their certainty that the small human vessel posed no threat. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Alina looked around the bridge one final time. All hands, this is the captain. What we do in the next few minutes will determine not just our fate, but the future of human expansion into the galaxy. Are you ready? The crew responded with quiet determination. They were ready to show the galaxy what humanity could accomplish when pushed to the edge. Fire, Alina commanded. The revelation, the quantum entropy, disrupted the bridge of the ESS Prometheus. Fell silent as Chief Engineer Sarah Kim pressed the activation sequence. The ship's lights dimmed momentarily as every available power source was redirected to the quantum entropy disruptor. The weapon itself was invisible to conventional sensors, hidden within the ship's seemingly ordinary hull plating. Unlike the massive energy cannons and missile arrays favored by other species, humanity's most advanced weapon was elegantly simple in appearance. Dr. James Wright monitored the activation sequence from his science station, his eyes fixed on readings that would have been meaningless to the alien fleet commanders. Quantum field generators are online, Captain. Entanglement matrices are stabilizing. We have a perfect lock on the lead Karothi vessel. Alina Vasquez stood at the center of the bridge, her calm demeanor masking the magnitude of what was about to happen. The quantum entropy disruptor represented 15 years of human scientific advancement, built on principles that the galaxy's established powers had dismissed as impossible. While other species had focused on building bigger guns and stronger shields, humanity had chosen a different path entirely. Captain, Lieutenant Marcus Chen called from his communications station. The alien fleet is demanding to know what we're doing. They're detecting unusual energy signatures, but can't identify the source. Alina smiled grimly. Let them wonder. Sarah, status report. 30 seconds to firing sequence completion, Sarah replied. All safety protocols are disengaged. The weapon is drawing power from our primary reactor, backup fusion cells, and emergency batteries simultaneously. The alien fleet had moved into optimal attack position. Their 12 massive ships arranged in a formation that would allow them to concentrate their firepower while protecting each other from counterattack. Admiral Zask's voice echoed through the bridge speakers, filled with growing irritation. Human vessel, you will explain these energy readings immediately. What are you attempting to do? Alina activated the ship's main view screen, showing her face to the alien commanders. Admiral Zask, Commander Thesis. Hi Admiral, Quenth. You've spent the last 20 minutes explaining why humanity is inferior to your species. You've mocked our technology, dismissed our achievements, and threatened our existence. Now it's time for a practical demonstration of human ingenuity. The science behind the impossible Dr. Wright moved to a secondary display that showed complex mathematical equations and quantum field diagrams. Gentlemen, allow me to explain what your sensors are detecting. The quantum entropy disruptor works on a principle that your species have never explored. Instead of trying to overpower your shields and armor, we're targeting the fundamental forces that hold your ships together. Commander Tice's voice carried a note of skepticism. Impossible. The strong nuclear force cannot be disrupted by any known technology. You are bluffing. Not disrupted, Dr. Wright corrected. Redirected. Human scientists discovered that quantum entanglement could be used to create cascade effects at the subatomic level. When properly applied, these cascades can cause the bonds between atoms to reorganize in ways that nature never intended. High Admiral Kent's response was immediate and dismissive. Theoretical nonsense. Even if such a process were possible, the energy requirements would be astronomical. Your small ship lacks the power to generate such effects. Dr. Wright smiled. You're absolutely right about the energy requirements. That's why we don't generate the effect ourselves. We simply trigger it and let the target's own power systems do the work. Alina watched the tactical display as the alien fleet continued. Its approach. The 12 ships were now close enough that their individual weapon systems were clearly visible. Plasma cannons, particle beams, and missile launchers were all charging to full power, preparing to reduce the Prometheus to scrap. Metal and cosmic dust. 10 seconds to firing sequence completion, Sarah announced from her engineering station. All systems are stable. The quantum cascade will begin on your command, Captain. Alina looked round the bridge at her crew. These brave men and women had followed her into an impossible situation, trusting in her leadership and their ship's untested technology. Marcus Chen was calmly monitoring communications while tracking the alien fleet's movements. Commander Sofia Torres stood ready at the tactical station, her face showing the quiet confidence of a professional soldier. Dr. Wright was practically vibrating with excitement at the prospect of demonstrating humanity's greatest scientific achievement. The moment of truth. Admiral Zask's voice boomed across the bridge one final time. Human Captain, your time is up. You have 10 seconds to abandon ship before we open fire. This is your final warning. Alina stepped forward, her hand resting on the firing control. Admiral, Commander, High Admiral. You've made a fundamental mistake about humanity. You've assumed that because we're newcomers to the galaxy, we must be inferior. You've confused experience with wisdom and size with strength. Enough talk, Commander. This interrupted. All ships, prepare to fire. Target their engines and weapon systems. We want them alive for interrogation. Alina pressed the firing control. Fire the quantum entropy disruptor. The effect was immediate and devastating. A pulse of invisible energy lanced out from the Prometheus, passing through the alien fleet's shields as if they didn't exist. The first target was Admiral Za's flagship, a massive Karothi dreadnought that had been the pride of their fleet for over a century. The quantum cascade began at the molecular level, too small to be detected by conventional sensors. The disruptor had locked onto the ship's primary power core, using the vessel's own energy output to fuel the reaction. Within seconds, the carefully controlled nuclear fusion that powered the ship began to destabilize. What is happening? Admiral Zask's voice carried shock and confusion. Engineering reports that our reactor is experiencing impossible fluctuations. The quantum field generators are failing. Dr. Wright watched his instruments with fascination. The cascade is spreading exactly as predicted. The entanglement effect is using the ship's own power grid as a transmission medium. The Karothi flagship began to show visible signs of distress. Its lights flickered as power systems throughout the ship started failing. Emergency alarms could be heard in the background of Admiral Zask's transmissions. But the real horror was yet to come. The cascade effect, the quantum cascade, didn't stop with the first ship. The alien fleet's greatest strength became their greatest weakness. The three species had linked their vessels together with quantum. communication networks, allowing for instant coordination and shared defensive systems. These same networks became the pathway for the entropy cascade to spread. Commander This was the first to understand what was happening. All ships sever quantum links immediately. The humans have infected our network with some kind of weapon. But it was too late. The cascade had already jumped to the Vexian vessels. Their quantum communicators carrying the destructive effect directly into their power cores. High Admiral Kent's ships were next. Their sophisticated quantum computer systems becoming conduits for their own destruction. Alina watched in amazement as 12 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy began to fail simultaneously. The quantum entropy effect was spreading faster than their computers could compensate, turning their own technology against them. Lights went out, shields collapsed, and weapon systems powered down as the cascade consumed the energy needed to maintain basic ship functions. "Captain," Dr. Wright called out, "the effect is proceeding exactly as our simulations predicted. The quantum entanglement is creating a feedback loop that's drawing power from their reactors faster than they can be shut down safely." Sarah Kim monitored the process from her engineering station. "The cascade is self-sustaining now. We can power down the disruptor. The alien ship's own systems will complete the process." Alina nodded, but her expression showed no triumph. "All. Stop. Bring us to a safe distance." The alien fleet was now completely helpless. Their massive ships drifted in space, all power systems offline. Their crews trapped in vessels that had become tombs of their own making. The quantum cascade had not destroyed the ships outright, but it had rendered them completely powerless. The aftermath emergency transmissions began flooding the communication channels as the alien crews realized their situation. Admiral Zask's voice was barely audible through the static of failing systems. "Human vessel, ... Our life support is failing." How, ... How did you do this?" Alina activated the ship's main transmitter. "Admiral, we're monitoring your situation. You have approximately 6 hours of emergency life support remaining across all 12 ships. Your crews are safe for now, but you're going to need assistance." Commander Tice's voice was weak, but filled with disbelief. "This is impossible. No weapon can affect quantum entanglement on this scale. The energy requirements alone..." Dr. Wright answered the question. "Commander, the weapon doesn't require massive energy input, because it uses your own power systems as the source. The quantum entropy disruptor is simply a trigger. Your ships provided all the energy needed to disable themselves." High Admiral Kent's transmission was barely audible. "How long have humans possessed this technology?" 15 years, Alina replied. "The Prometheus was built specifically to test and demonstrate the weapon system. We've been waiting for the right moment to reveal it." There was a long silence from the alien fleet. Finally, Admiral Zask spoke again. "Why, ... Why did you not destroy us completely? You could have turned our ships into dust." Alina moved to the view screen, her face showing the compassion that had made her an excellent diplomat. "Because destruction was never our goal, Admiral. We're not conquerors. We're explorers, scientists, and diplomats. We built this weapon to defend ourselves, not to attack others." The negotiation commander, Sofia Torres, reported from the tactical station. "Captain, I'm detecting emergency signals from all 12 ships. They're requesting immediate assistance." With life support restoration, Alina nodded. "Dr. Wright, can we reverse the quantum cascade effect?" "Theoretically, yes," the scientist replied. "The effect is designed to be temporary. we can transmit a quantum stabilization pulse that will allow their systems to reset and restore normal power functions. Alina activated the ship's communication system. Admiral Zask, Commander Vises, Hi Admiral Quenth, we're prepared to assist with restoring your ship's power systems. However, I want to establish some new parameters for our relationship. Admiral Zask's voice was humble for the first time. What are your terms? First, humanity will be recognized as an equal partner in galactic civilization. No more dismissals of our technology or capabilities. Second, we establish formal diplomatic relations between our species. Third, we work together to maintain peace and stability in this region of space. The alien commanders conferred among themselves through private channels. Finally, High Admiral Quenth responded, Captain Vasquez, we may have misjudged your species. The technology you've demonstrated is beyond anything we thought possible. How do we know you won't use it against us again? Alina smiled. Because that's not who we are. Humanity doesn't seek dominance through fear. We seek cooperation through mutual respect. Today's demonstration was necessary to establish that respect. Dr. Wright began the quantum stabilization sequence. Captain, I'm transmitting the stabilization pulse now. Their power systems should come back online within the next few minutes. The new understanding as the alien ships began to restore power. Alina reflected on the day's events. The quantum entropy disruptor had worked exactly as designed, but, more importantly, it had achieved its true purpose. Humanity had earned its place in the galaxy not through aggression or conquest, but through the demonstration of advanced thinking and superior technology. Commander Vises was the first to acknowledge the new reality. Captain Vasquez, we owe you an apology. We approached this encounter with preconceptions about your species that were clearly wrong. The Vexian Confederation would be honored to establish diplomatic relations with humanity. Admiral Zask's transmission followed shortly after. The Karathi Empire has learned a valuable lesson today. Size and traditional power are not the only measures of strength. We would welcome the opportunity to learn from human scientific achievements. High Admiral Kent's response was the most thoughtful. The Thalarian hegemony has prided itself on 10,000 years of technological advancement. Today, we discovered that innovation is more important than tradition. We would be honored to share knowledge with your species. Alina looked around the bridge at her crew. They had accomplished something remarkable today. Not just the successful test of a revolutionary weapon, but the establishment of humanity's place as a respected member of galactic civilization. Gentlemen, she said to the alien commanders, I believe this is the beginning of a new era. Humanity has much to learn from your species, and apparently you have something to learn from us as well. The future. As the alien fleet restored full power and began standing down from battle stations, Alina authorized the creation of a joint communication channel. Representatives from all four species would meet in neutral space to establish formal diplomatic protocols and discuss future cooperation. Dr. Wright was already excited about the possibilities. Captain, imagine what we could accomplish by combining human quantum mechanics with Karathi engineering, Vexian computing, and Thalarian materials science. The applications would be limitless. Alina nodded. That's the goal, James. Not conquest or dominance, but cooperation and mutual advancement. Chief Engineer Sarah Kim smiled as she monitored the alien ship's power restoration. Captain, I think we just changed the course of galactic history with a single shot. Alina looked out at the stars, where 4 different species were learning. to see each other in a new light. That's exactly what we did, Sarah. We proved that the future belongs to those who innovate, not those who merely intimidate. The Prometheus had accomplished its mission in ways that Alina could never have imagined. They had come to establish trade routes and instead had established something far more valuable, the foundation for a new era of galactic cooperation based on mutual respect and shared advancement. As the ship prepared to return to Earth with news of their success, Alina reflected on the day's events. Humanity had been tested and had proven worthy of its place among the stars. The galaxy would never be the same. The aliens had mocked Earth's tiny warship, but one shot had changed everything, not through destruction, but through the demonstration of human ingenuity and the power of thinking beyond conventional limits. The future was bright with possibilities. Asterisk,